Hi guys, this is Dangoor with TigerChef, and today I'm going to show you my version of how to make fire fajitas. Alright, so the first thing you need for fajitas is the fajita mix, which consists of bell peppers and onions. So we're going to start off with our green bell pepper. Now I'm going to cut off the head of it, just like so. Put this aside for right now. Take this middle part out. And you see all this white? We don't want this white. So I have a little trick. I cut right to where the white is, and that way this is left with no white on it. And now I'll cut again right to where the white is. Again, no white is left on it. And by the way, we don't want the white because the white is bitter. So let me just do the rest of this. And you'll be left with all these whites, standing up like that. And then you can cut off the bottom if you wish to use it. This part is no good anymore because it's bitter. And now what you're gonna do, well, I'll show you with one. This is like a beginner version. You're gonna julienne these, which is about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch thick. I mean, the proper cut is 1/8 of an inch, but just for our purposes, we're gonna go through 1/4. And if you get really advanced, stack 2 of these guys on top of each other and do the same thing. Now, the recipe calls for 1 green bell pepper, 2 red, and 1 yellow. So the next is the onion. This is the way that I usually cut my onions. I cut off the tips. Okay. As you can see, I still got the sticker on, but it's not a problem to me because we're taking off that outside layer. Cut it down the middle and peel off this outside skin. Okay. There you go. Onion is ready to be cut now. So now there's 2 ways to do this. One, you cut straight down like this, and you get a nice thin slice. The other way is actually to go against the grain and cut like that. Either way will suffice. You want to make these guys as thin as you possibly can because you want them to be nice and caramelized. If they're too thick, they're going to be too big and chewy, and they're not going to get that golden brown flavor on it. So you want to keep that. And now the other thing is you want to keep this separate from your bell pepper mix. Even though they're going to go in the same fajita mix, you want to keep them separate when you're cooking them. So I'm going to put these in a separate bowl right now. So now we're going to cook off our vegetables. So first things first, we're going to light on this fire. Now, this is, as you guys all know, the fajita platter. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to make this sizzle. So we're going to put this on the fire and just let it go while we're cooking off our vegetables. Now, while we wait for this guy to heat up, we get our spice mixture out. This is our fajita mixture. It's actually my own special mixture. If you guys want it, we have the recipe. And first thing we're going to start off with are our onions. I've already pre-greased this pan with a little bit of olive oil, just enough to coat the pan. And we're going to drop this in. It's at a medium heat. And we're starting at a medium heat just so we can sweat it a little bit. It's going to build up to a high heat and then caramelize it in the end. Ooh, now it's nice and caramelized. We're going to add in our bell peppers. We're going to let this cook down for a little bit. So one thing that's a little secret is sometimes it's not cooking the inside of the vegetables because they're too big and beefy. So we want to steam it. All you have to do is just add a little bit of water. And it's naturally going to steam those vegetables for you, help them cook down a little faster. Last but not least, you're going to want to add in your fajita mix and just a smidge, just to coat it. Stir it around a little bit. In about a minute, we'll take it off. Fajita mix will be ready. All right, so today we're actually making steak fajitas. So I get my steak from Meal Mart. I mean, all steaks are pretty much similar. The only difference that you'll really have is the way that they were raised. And this guy's got a lot of marbling, as you can tell over here. The marbling tells you how juicy the steak's gonna be. Not only that, it's like when you eat it, the fat that it has around has such a distinct flavor. It's really one of the most delicious steaks I've ever had. So I usually go with, this is about 6 ounces. And all I'm really gonna do is just season it lightly with salt, just on the outside. I'm gonna pop it in the pan, and then I'm gonna season the other side. Now, I get my pan nice and hot, so we get that nice little sear on the bottom. That's that crispy, crispiness that we're always so used to with fajitas. We're gonna let that sit until I see the edges. Once the edges get that nice little brown on the side, I'll know it's time to flip it and then take it off. It's about ready for a flip. You see we got that beautiful sear on there. Now that I got my nice little sear, I'm just gonna leave it on there for a second. I like my steak rare. So a little bit more medium to well done. Leave it on there for about another 2-3 minutes. Our steak is about ready to be taken off. So just before I end it, I'm gonna put that fajita mix on it. Flip it, let it caramelize a little bit on that side. And do this side as well. All right, so we've got our nice little fajita steak over here. I'm gonna cut it at a bias, which is an angle. Nice little thin strips. At the beginning, we took our little pan that was over here and we left it on the fire. The reason for this is we wanna get that nice and hot. This is a cast iron skillet. So it can come sit on this wooden little plank. Now this is what makes fajita fajita, where you hear that nice loud sizzle, and it's also gonna help in your fire. Now, if this guy is not hot enough, you're not gonna get that fire. So you wanna make sure that you got it nice and steaming hot. The first thing we're gonna do is take our mix, throw that on top, put our meat on top of it, and then the trick is this guy right here. This is tequila. We're gonna pour the tequila on top at the end and then light it on fire. It's gonna look a little like this. And that's how you do Dangoor style. Dangoor style, yeah! So normally this thing can be served with tortillas or even a la carte with rice. Me, I just like it plain. This is the way to go. So listen guys, I'm Danny Dangoor. Thank you for visiting TigerChef.com. And more recipes like this or any of the items that we actually use in today's meal, you can find us at TigerChef.com.